Chicken and stuffing, two great flavors that go so good together, and we're bringing them to you right now on the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show. Well, howdy y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show, hosted by yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. We've got stuffing and chicken for you on this episode of the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show. Now we're going to be bringing you two recipes. The first recipe we're going to be doing for you is going to be Mama's bread stuffing. Now that's my mama's bread stuffing, and I'm going to tell you what, this is really basic. It's simple, it's not real crazy with a lot of flavors. You know, there's tons of different stuffings out there that got tons of different things that go into them, but this is just a very down-home, basic type of a recipe that my mama made up a long time ago, and I'm going to introduce that to you right now, shortly here after we do the ingredients, because it's the first one we're going to do for you. But you're going to love this. It's a very tasty stuffing. I get tons of people that ask me for this recipe all the time, and now I'm going to give it to all you. But you're going to find if you make this, it's just such an easy, simple, and tasty stuffing recipe. And with that stuffing, we're going to go ahead and make some curried chicken breast. And you're going to like this. It's got some curry and some onion and some other good flavors, and then we're going to get to that after our stuffing recipe here in just a bit. But first of all, we're talking stuffing. So let's show you what's going into Mama's bread stuffing over here in our ingredient roundup. Alright? Alright. First off here, we got one 12-ounce bag of cubed stuffing mix. Now that's herbal, and you want to use an herbal stuffing mix if you can. If you can't, you know, go with the basic. Also use the cube instead of the granulated. It just makes it a better, more consistent type of a stuffing. Alright? Secondly here, 4 pieces of left out white bread. We're going to be making that. That's part of that's why they call it bread stuffing, because there's going to be bread in it, but you want to make sure it's dry so it absorbs all the liquor we're going to be putting on top of that here in just a bit. I'll show you all that a little bit later. Alright, now we've got 1 can of chicken broth, 2 cups, about 2 cups of water. We've got 1 stick or a half a cup of butter. I just cut that up into 4 pieces to make it easier to melt when we get into our saucepan here in just a bit. I've got here 1 medium onion, that's about a cup, that's been chopped, and 4 ribs of celery, that's been chopped up, probably about a cup and a half, or a cup and a quarter if you measure that out, alright? That's it. That's what the ingredients are for our Mama's bread stuffing. We're going to go ahead and mosey on over to our stove top right here, get the stove cam out, and show you how this all is assembled and comes out, alright? So you come on back, alright?
You are watching WYE the Network.
Well, alright, here we are. We've got our stove cam in place, and we're going to go ahead and start making our Mama's bread stuffing right now. And the first thing we want to go ahead and do is add our butter. So we're going to go ahead and add in our half a stick of butter. We want to melt this down. Now I have this on a medium heat, okay, because we do want to get the veggies that we're going to be putting in here, our celery and onions, cooked down pretty good. I'm going to walk you through all that here in just a bit. We just want to get that butter nice and melted down first, okay? So it won't take long here. It'll be just about a second or so. Just keep stirring it around. Just take about a half a minute here. See, this is the reason why you don't want to throw a whole stick of butter in your saucepan. Cut it down because it gives it it's a lot faster to melt and to dissolve when you've got it cut up more. Actually, a lot of times I'll even cut it up in eighths, depending on the size of the saucepan or the skillet or however I'm using that butter. That butter is pretty much going to be gone now right there. Alright, what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and add in my 2 cups of water. There we go. That is obviously to help the process of the vegetables getting nice and soft. We're going to go ahead now and just put in our celery. We're going to go ahead and add in our onions. And that's pretty much it right there. And all we want to do is just kind of mix this all together now. All right. So what we want to do here is we want to get this to a boil. All right. So I'm going to stir this around a little bit, and we should be able to get this to a boil in just a moment. Okay, it takes about maybe 5 minutes, and now you've got a nice light boil going on here, and that's what you want to get. You don't want a raging boil. You just want to get it to a boiling point, and then just make sure you're stirring it every so often, okay, just so you're getting all your veggies nice and circulated so nothing's sticking to the bottom, all right? Just like that. You know, somebody had asked me one time why I added 2 cups of water to this part of the recipe, and I said, because I can. And they gave me this look like they wanted to kill me, and I laughed and I said, well, no, seriously. I said 2 reasons. Number 1, it helps speed up the process of getting your vegetables nice and soft, and secondly, you want all this liquid in your stuffing because you need that all to absorb into your breadcrumbs or your bread cubes and your bread, your dry bread. And that's the reason why. But boy, if looks could kill, I'm telling you so. But I just always remember that with this particular recipe, because that was it just caught me. It just tickled my funny bone the way I did that, and the person got so upset about how I responded to that. But anyway, so alright, so there you go. So what we want to do at this point, we want to lower our heat to simmer, which is about 10 o'clock on my stove. It's number 2, and then we're just going to go ahead and cover this. Now, when you cover this, go ahead and just kind of cock the lid a little bit. We want a little steam to come out because we're not really sure if maybe it'll boil still or not. It shouldn't boil over, but you don't want to take a chance and you don't want to lose all that great liquid. So just give it a little bit of a steam release there. And it's going to take about 15 minutes on a simmer to get those vegetables at the degree of softness that we want for our Mommas bread stuffing. And just make sure about every 5 minutes or so you go ahead and stir that up just to make sure it keeps from burning or scorching on the bottom of your pan, all right? So we're going to go ahead and do this right now, and let's see how this all turns out in just a bit. Alright, we're at the 15-minute point and everything is looking really good right now. You kind of want to get your vegetables to look a little translucent like that. Your onion should look translucent. The celery, I can tell already, has softened up nicely. We're going to be baking this too for 45 minutes, so even if it's not, it will be by the time it's done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take this off the stove, and then we're going to go ahead, take a little break, come back and show you what we're going to do with this in our next segment of our Mommas bread stuffing. So come on back. Alright, we're back. Now we're going to go ahead and take our veggie mixture that we made on our stovetop here just a bit ago, and we're going to incorporate this with our breadcrumbs and our torn up bread pieces, our dried bread pieces that we have here. Now I've gone ahead here and I've already torn up our 4 pieces of bread and layered them on top of our bowl here that is also containing our bread cubes, alright, our herbal bread cubes. But I want to go ahead now, first of all, before I take the mixture, and add in our chicken broth that we have. And I'm just going to go ahead now and just pour that over the top. Just like that. Get as much as you can around the whole circumference of your bowl. Alright, just like that. And now, we're going to go ahead and take off our stovetop here our onions and our celery and add that. Okay? Just get a spoon just to help guide you here a little bit. There we go. And you want to lay these vegetables on top, just like I'm doing here. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to spread them out just a bit. But there we go. Something like that. Let me put this pan back down here. Now what we want to do is just go ahead and layer this in like this. Okay? Cover this completely. Cover your bread completely, just like this. So your bowl, at the end, your medium bowl should look just like this. Your veggies should be layered on top like that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let that set for about 15-20 minutes, alright? Because we want to get all of this moisture into our breadcrumbs and our bread, alright? And then we're going to take a little break here. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and get down and dirty into that bread mixture and stir that up. We're going to use my hands. So stick around and see what happens. been 15 minutes now or so. I think our mixture is about ready to be mixed up even further. So first I'm going to talk to you, as I always do, about keeping your kitchen nice and clean. Make sure your environment's nice and clean. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. We're going to go ahead and roll our sleeves up because I'm going to be getting into the food here and mixing some Mama's bread stuffing up with my hands. So these sleeves just don't want to roll up. You got to watch out for these wardrobe malfunctions here. These wardrobe malfunctions will kill you all the time. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands, and then we're going to get busy into this stuffing. See that? That alright. They're clean anyway, but I just want to show you all that I was cleaning them as well. Alright, nice and clean, sleeves are rolled up, let's go. All you really want to do at this point, we want to mix this all up. We want to take all the bread cubes, the torn up pieces of bread, and get this all congealed with all these vegetables. It shouldn't be hot enough now to where I can get my hands in there. It should be alright. So let's just go ahead and see. And you just want to get in here and massage. And yeah, it's going to get a little messy here. It's going to get messy on your hands. It's going to get messy here probably on the counter as well. And you just want to kind of bring stuff up from the bottom to the top. Okay? Just like this. Okay? And just keep mixing around. Okay? Just like this. Probably should have used a little bigger bowl because for some reason, maybe because I had a little more vegetable in here, I don't know for sure. But it seems like I got more in here than I normally do. Because usually I can use this bowl and mix it up pretty well. It seems like it wants to start coming out the top here a little bit, so I'm just going to have to moderate how I normally do this. We'll just use one hand. And you just see I'm just squeezing it with my hands like this, okay? And I'm just bringing it from the bottom to the top. Alright? There's no easy, I'll tell you what, you could try using a spoon or some other kind of contraption. There's just no better way of doing it than this. It's just like making meatloaf or other things where you really got to get in there and just squish it up and mix it up, just like this. I'm probably giving my cameraman a corny over there because I keep moving this bowl around. You really can't help it, you know? But you got to get this all nicely mixed up. Okay, just like that. Now, you're going to feel probably some of the breadcrumbs at this point, some of the bread cubes, are going to still feel a little hard, a little solid. Don't worry about that. When we get this into our casserole dish and into the oven, that's all going to be taken care of, trust me. You'll have nice stuffing. Mama's bread stuffing, just like that. Alright. Now, another thing too. This is perfect actually. Let me wash my hands for a second here. A little messy. I do apologize. It's the only way you can get this to really mix up well. It really is. Alright. What I was going to say is that, you know, if it's not wet enough for you, you can go ahead, and I keep usually about a cup of water, about a half a cup to a cup of water handy, just to put in, just in case it's a little drier than I like it. I like it to be nice and moist, but I don't want it to be sloppy. When you cook this in the oven, it's going to go ahead and get rid of a little bit of the water, but it won't be a lot. So you kind of want it to be the way that it is when you're mixing this up, solid-wise, as you do when you're going to be eating it. So again, some people like a really dry type of a stuffing. Some people like a really moist stuffing. So it just all depends on your preference. But right now, the way I have it is absolutely perfect. I don't even need to add any more water or anything else into that. It's just perfect as it is. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead right now. Let's go ahead and put this into our 2.5 quart casserole dish, alright? Alright, we've got Mama's bread stuffing into our 2.5 quart casserole dish here. Now all we're going to go ahead and do is take our cover and just cover it up. We're going to go ahead and put that into a 350 degree oven for 30 minutes. Then what we're going to do is take the cover off and let the top get a little crusty for the next 15 minutes after that. So it's a total of 45 minutes you'll be keeping it in that 350 degree oven. So at this point, obviously if you haven't already done that, go ahead and preheat your oven. and you're all set to go. So we're going to go ahead and throw this into our oven, and while we're doing that, we're going to come back up next and we're going to go start our curried chicken breast for you, alright? Come on back. Alright, we're back here. Now we're going to go ahead and start showing you the ingredient roundup for our curried chicken breast. That's our second recipe of this episode here. And the first thing you want to go ahead is get yourself 4 skinless, boneless chicken breasts. Just wash those off and pat those dry before you use them, alright? Next up here we've got 3 cups of French fried onion rings, and I'm telling you they make a fantastic coating for our chicken breast. Trust me on that. Next up here we've got to include with that 2 teaspoons of curry, and the curry and the those French fried onion rings go so good together. This is just, it's amazing. The house just smells phenomenal when you're cooking this stuff, let me tell you. Lastly, we've got 1 egg and a 1/4 cup of milk incorporated in here, and that's going to be our glue that's going to stick the wonderful coating onto this chicken. So let's go ahead and get started right now. So now I have here my zipper bag that we're going to go ahead and incorporate our French fried onion rings and our curry in. So what you want to do, you've got one just like that here, get yourself a large zipper bag, okay? And we just want to go ahead, we want to take our 3 cups of French fried onion rings. Be careful when you put those in, they don't spill all over the place. That would not be a good thing. Put that over to the side here. Now you want to go ahead and take your 2 teaspoons of, 2 teaspoons of curry here. Let's go ahead and incorporate that like so. Alright. Now, make sure you zipper this extremely tightly. Try to get the air out if you can too. I just kind of press it against my stomach like this. Slide it in, because now we're going to lay this flat. We're going to spread this out, all this mixture out with the entire bag, just like that, okay? Get a rolling pin or a heavy object. I think a rolling pin works best for this. And you're just going to go and start crushing, a little at a time, your ingredients in here. You see how I'm doing that? Let me see if I can center that in here a little bit better. Just like that. And you start, I try to start from the bottom and work my way to the top. Just like that. You want to get it nice and crushed. Okay? There we go. Just like that. I used to do this a lot when I used to help my mama out in the kitchen. I was a little helper for a long time. This would be the kind of stuff she'd get me to do. You get a little bit of a workout. You keep doing this after a while. You want to get these all nicely crushed. I'll just go ahead and turn these. Now what I'll do is I'll turn them over, and then I just kind of start again here. You don't want to get too close to the top, because that zipper bag could pop open. And I'm telling you, it's popped open for me on a number of occasions in my lifetime. So I try not to get it too close to the top if I can. Okay? And this just, you want to get this really just nice and crunched up. And this really is the best way I found to do that. You know, that's probably pretty good right there. Just like that. Okay, that's good. Whew. I'm plumb getting tired from doing all that. I'm telling you, aerobic workout. Alright, this is what you end up with like this. Okay, I'll lay it down. My other camera can probably get a shot of that. That's it. That's going to be your breading that's going to go onto your chicken. And so what we're going to do now is start an assembly line and just continue this process, alright? So let me see here. So now I want to go ahead, and what I've done here is I've taken like a shallow pie or a cake pan. You can use any sort of a shallow type of a container and put your egg mixture in here. This is the glue that's going to go on before we put it into the bag, alright, those chicken breasts. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead, wash my hands first, because I obviously been messing around. I want to make sure I have clean hands here, because I'm going to be playing around in the chicken there for a bit. Now, what you also want to do before you start as well, get yourself a cookie or a baking sheet, alright? and put that right here. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll put that right here so our camera can get a nice shot of that. Okay, and you want to go ahead and lightly grease this if you want to, which I would recommend. I also use aluminum foil because it's easy cleanup at the end as well. You don't have to, but get yourself a cookie or a baking sheet here, baking pan, and get that ready because that's where our chicken's going to be going on to. All right, and at this point too, you probably want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to do one chicken breast for you, just to show you the process here. All righty. Get me set. All right, take one of your chicken breasts like you have here, okay, just like that. Just go ahead and dredge this into your egg mixture here, just like that, okay. Make sure you open this up a little bit. All right, now, what you want to do is take your chicken breast just like this, go ahead and just stick it into your bag, like so. Make sure you ziplock this nice and tight now. Make sure you ziplock this nice and tight, like so. I just roll it down sometimes like that, and then you just shake it up. Do a little aerobic, a little fun. Put some music on, dance around if you want. It's fun for the kids too. You want to get involved and have a little fun too. Just like that. Alright, so you take it out of the bag. It looks good. And all we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and just set that down. Just like so. Now, if you want to go ahead, if you want to put some more on, you can do that too. Okay? And then pat it in. If you find that there's not enough on there, don't be afraid to go ahead and get some more and just pat this in like so, because you want to have this all nicely coated. Okay? Just like that. That's all there is to it. So, I'm going to finish up here. We're going to go ahead and put this into our 400 degree oven. We're going to bake this for about 30 or 35 minutes until it's nicely golden brown on top and it's evenly done through the chicken itself. Alright, so we've got our Mama's bread stuffing already done. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to show you both of our final presentations of both of these on the next segment here. And then we're going to go ahead and plate these and do a little taste test and just see how them all turned out. Alright, so y'all come on back. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be great. Alright, see you in a bit. Two great recipes we had for you on this episode. Here is our first one. This is the finished Mama's bread stuffing. And take a look at our curried chicken breasts. Now take a look at these curried chicken breasts. I'm telling you, they are done to perfection. Nice and crispy and just perfect. Absolutely perfect. We're going to go ahead and set up our presentation plate and get down to trying out some food here. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Here I am in front of my presentation plate here, and we have this wonderful curried chicken breast and Mama's bread stuffing sitting right on this plate right here. If you notice what I did, I like to do this a lot. I'll sprinkle a little parsley on a light or white plate before I put down the food. You know, it just gives it a little bit more of a pizzazz. You know, Sunday afternoons, Sunday evening meals don't always have to be so boring. You can just spice them up with just a little bit of parsley on a plate, and you know, it just makes it a little more fun. So just a little tip from Chef Ron Locke to you, if you want to go ahead and just notch it up a little bit. All right. Well, here we are again with our food here. This house smells so great. And I mean, the stuffing, Mama's bread stuffing is just amazing, and the smells from that alone are just out of this world. And then you top this off with our curried chicken breast, and the onion and the curry together is just a powerful, powerful flavor that mixes so well with the stuffing. This is a double combination. I'm telling you, if you want to have a really home style type of a meal on a Sunday or any type of day, these are the two you should go with right here. But you know what? I need to take a taste of both of these because we worked hard tonight. We worked hard. So it's funny. I have to tell you a little story here before I do this. I've got friends here that are watching. I got people over here watching the show, and so the smells are just driving them nuts. We're gonna have dinner here in just a bit, but they had to have me actually let me cut one of the breast up and let them take a taste of it before I started filming the episode here at the end here, because they were just going crazy. They threatened to do something with the episode if I hadn't, so I had to bribe them a little bit to stay off the set so I can finish this up. All right, so let's go ahead and take a test here and see how this turned out. They seem, y'all liked it? Yeah? I'm not gonna say anything. They're nodding. They're being respectful. I got my knife and fork here, and we're gonna go ahead and try this right now. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn the plate carefully around because I need to go ahead and get to my chicken here. We're just gonna take a little piece here. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't want to get a big piece, but I want to get enough to show you. Oh, yeah. Nice and juicy. You know, I'm going to go ahead and hush for a second and eat, and I'll talk about this in a second. If you like chicken that melts in your mouth when you eat it, and you know what I'm talking about, if you've had incredibly juicy chicken and crispy skin that just goes so well together, you're gonna love this. Try this recipe. This gets a YEE HAW YUM! Oh my God. The one thing I love about this recipe is the chicken just is so moist. Now you would think, okay, I've had people say at 400 degrees, you're going to dry the chicken out, right? Because the coating on this and the egg wash together seal those juices in. And we leave it in for about 30 minutes, 30 to 35. I tend to take it out around 30. My oven's a little hotter. If you don't have such a high heat oven, leave it in for about 35. And do not, I want to tell you right now, do not use these frozen chicken breast little fillet thin things that are out there. You know what I'm talking about. They're like in a bag for like 10 bucks. Don't use these on this kind of recipe, because if you do, they will dry out. You need to get fresh chicken breast from the meat area. Don't buy frozen. Don't buy the frozen stuff, all right? Just telling you right now. All right, but those, it's just juicy. When you bite into this, you immediately hit the onion and the curry, because that's what's really there. That's the flavors. You don't need salt and pepper with this, because there's enough salt with the French fried onion rings, and the curry is already got sort of that, a little bit of a peppery taste to it. I've tried adding pepper to this once, and it just didn't taste right. It was just a little overbearing. So that's what, don't put salt and pepper on this. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it just the way it is, just like it is, all right? All right. Fantastic, fantastic. Now, Mama's bread stuffing. Now, I've had this ever since I was probably 1-2 years old, probably, as soon as I could eat solid foods. And this is just, it's a treat. It's an honor to my mama. It's an honor to my mama to make this. It's an honor to have this recipe on here, on my show for her. I'm sure she'd be, she's probably smiling up in heaven right now, watching me do this right now. Let's take a test. That gets a mama YEE HAW YUM. It's always perfection every time. you can't follow that up. If you follow the recipe, you can't. It's foolproof. It really is. If you like a crispy crust on top, take the cover off at the last 15 minutes of that 350-degree heat, and it gives a nice crispiness to it. If you don't like that and just like it regular all the way through, then just leave the top on and let it go all the way through to 45 minutes. But oh my goodness, I'm telling you, these two are such a great combination. I got salivating people over here. They're waiting for me to get off. So you know what? That's it. That is all that we have for this episode of the Chuckwagon Cowboy Show. I want to thank y'all, as I always do every week, for checking us out and watching our show and all the feedback and support you've given. You really have just been fantastic. I just tell your friends about us. If you like what you see, tell your friends about us. Get them to watch. And try some of the recipes that we have for you. I think you're really going to enjoy this one in particular. Give this a shot. Let us know how you like it, all right? All right. Well, this is Chef Ron Locke, signing off as I always do. What do I say? Get off that couch and get cooking! We'll see you next time.